Yeah. So you will find that when I, for instance, show you the retina, it's not going to be like book picture. You're going to see this stuff coiled up, piece break off, pieces broken, all that kind of thing. It's real, it's a real problem, yeah. Now here we are looking at the cornea, and the cornea itself is about has about 5 layers. Cornea itself has about 5 layers. And the most anterior layer is a stratified squamous epithelium. So let us look at it on the higher power. Yeah. So this is it. Stratified squamous epithelium. And the peripheral part of the cornea is a little thicker than the central part. The peripheral part, that is going to be in the vicinity of the corneoscleral junction, the limbus, is a little thicker than the central part of the cornea. Now, this is epithelium which, I mean, the cornea itself needs to have a blood supply. The cornea needs to have a blood supply. But what is the color of the cornea? Huh? Colorless, transparent. If you had a white cornea, you couldn't come inside here. You couldn't see to come down here if you had a white cornea, because light couldn't pass through it with ease, right? So it has to be transparent. Good. Now, so. Keratomalacia. Yes. Keratomalacia. Kerato related to keratin. Keratin actually means horn, H-O-I-N. But keratin again is related to keratinocytes. Keratinocytes are the cells that are coming from the skin. Each of these cells from the germinative layer, they are keratinocytes. Yeah. But everything is just fancy inside the in the eye, because the very cornea and the fibrillin, the kinds of collagen that are produced are just different. Okay. Now there are about 5 to 7 layers of the anterior epithelium. 5 to 7 layers. And if you look at the layers, just like regular epithelium, the superficial ones are flat, and the deep ones, or like the germinative section, that is going to be kind of cuboidal, right? And as you go up, you notice the cells begin to spread out. They begin to spread out. So around the 3rd layer, you are looking at some cells that look kind of broad. And these are called wing cells because of the shape, like a wing. Yeah, wing cells. Deep to the epithelial layer is another layer. And that layer is kind of acellular matrix. So what is believed is that the germinative layer and the fibrous layer, which is deep, the substantia propria, that they produce this intermediate acellular layer. And that intermediate acellular layer is called Bowman's membrane. Yeah. Bowman's membrane. Bowman's membrane is important. If you damage Bowman's membrane, what tends to happen is scarring. A scar will be formed. The Bowman's membrane, it's believed that the germinative layer, in other words, the basal layer of the epithelium, and the substance of the substantia propria, that these two form the Bowman's membrane, which is an acellular membrane, but it is, as it were, transparent. Yeah. And so that is just below the epithelial layer. And then we have this thick layer of a lot of fibrous tissue. Inside here. And that is connective tissue, basically. And then deep to that now, you have another acellular layer or lamina, and this is reputed to be the thickest lamina anywhere in the body. And that's called Descemet's membrane. Descemet's membrane. D-E-S-C-E-M-E-T. Descemet's membrane. And this membrane is produced by the layer which is deep to it. And this D-E-S-C-E-M-E-T. D-E-S-C-E-M-E-T. And this acellular layer is produced by the endothelium. And that deepest layer of the cornea, that's the endothelium. And you can see that the endothelium is a one layer of cells. One layer of cells.
One layer of simple squamous.
Right, simple squamous cells. Simple cells. One layer. Now, for those of you who like little mnemonics, you can call this the anterior layer, which is A. This is Bowman's layer, which is B. This is connective tissue, which is C. This is Descemet's membrane, which is D. And this is the endothelium, which is E. A, B, C, D, E. You get it? Good.
No, at the end of the story, what is he? Because they do what every single eat, not the names. What is male? What is the E in the male?
Yes, you know how it is. You remember A, B, C, D, E, and you don't remember what E means or what A stands for. You know? Alright, so A is the anterior layer, your B is your Bowman's, C is the connective tissue, D is Descemet's, and E is your endothelium. Alright. So there are a whole heap of things in terms of the cornea and its pathology. Plenty things. Pages on it. But let's move on. Let's go down to the level of the iris and